guys.
He sent a picture, sorry, but out of your way.
Maybe he didn't set up. Free Bible from the Gideons.
Oh, thank you.
Welcome. God bless.
Have a good one.
You too, thanks. Here you go. Free Bible from the Gideons. From the little guy.
Did you say that one from right here?
How are you?
Woo, snap.
Move. Where? Fairhaven.
Sam's laughing at it.
No, they're down to the right. Gotta go this way, guys. That way. This way. Wheel. Right.
Ooh, candy.
Jared. Get to your brother. I know. That's what I thought too. I know. What about the little boy in the back? Thank you, Ashwood. What about your brother?
Hey, Free Bible from the Gideons.
Happy 4th of July. Hi, Mark.
Hey, how are you?
I had another job today.
So cute.
Beautiful.
Woo.
Happy 4th.
So cute. We got a pickleball fishing board.
Right, Ken. I see ya.
That's all right. We have a pirate.
Ooh, snap, we have a pirate.
Happy 4th.
Happy 4th.
I do.
Absolutely.
Yay,
Have a
thank
great
you.
day.
You too. Thank you so much.
Give him one and then come with me, okay?
Uh-oh.
Hazel gives you something and she throw it.
Here you go. There you go, dude.
Thank you.
No worries. Ah, the Jeeps are the best. Oh, that was good. Oh, the puppies.
Thank you.
The Shepherd Center is all about
word over there. For the Yanks are coming, the Yanks are coming. The drums are drumming everywhere. So beware, say a prayer. We're going over, and we won't be back till it's over there. God bless America. Come on. Land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with a light from above. From the mountains to the prairies to the ocean white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home. Thank you, Fairhaven.
Very much, Eddie. Okay, so we are gathered here today on July 4th, 2023, and we are celebrating the day when the Declaration of Independence was signed near the beginning of the Revolutionary War. It was signed 2 days after the Continental Congress declared that the colonies would unite to detach themselves from England. And here we are gathered at a place that has been involved in the history of protecting our harbor since the days of the American Revolution. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about some of the things that happened during those days. The first one was that on April 19th, 1775, the Redcoats marched out of the towns of Lexington and marched out of Boston toward the towns of Lexington and Concord. And that is the day of the battles of Lexington and Concord. That's the day of the shot heard round the world. That's the day when Paul Revere and two other men who didn't have really good public relations people in their families rode out into the countryside to warn everyone that the British Redcoats were on the march. That marks the beginning of the revolution. And here in Fairhaven, we had a village militia under the command of Nathaniel Pope and Daniel Eggery. They were volunteer people who protected the villages here, which were Fairhaven and Oxford on this side of the Acushnet River. We were all part of the town of Dartmouth all the way through the Revolution, and the little villages on the Acushnet River were Bedford Village across the way. They soon discovered that there was already a Bedford, Massachusetts, and so they had to add the new in front of it. Fairhaven Village was around where the new ice cream cottage place is. That was Fairhaven Village. Further north where Oxford Street and Lafayette Street is, that was Oxford Village. And then the biggest village was Head of the River, or Acushnet Village, where the River's End Cafe is today. And those four villages were all protected by the fort that we built here. But before the fort was built, Nathaniel Pope and Daniel Eggery led 25 men out into the harbor to capture two British ships that were anchored out there. They were intending to harass all the shipping that was coming in and out of our harbor. This was May 13th to 14th, 1775. The sloop Success sailed out with our men on board, and they approached the first British sloop, overcame the crew there, kept them prisoner, sailed across to the other side of the harbor where the second British sloop was anchored. There were some shots exchanged. The British commander of that ship was wounded. He survived, though, and the Success sailed back in to our wharf, probably where Old South Wharf is now, about 10 o'clock on Sunday morning, May 14th, 1775, and that was the very first naval exchange of the American Revolution. And it was fought by Americans, and it was the first battle on the water where British officers were taken prisoner. So that happened right here with our village militiamen. The fort was then built the following couple of years. It was built in 1777. There were 11 small cannon that were facing out into the harbor. There's one right there, the little cannon with the reddish-brown carriage there is one that has been here ever since the Revolution. In 1778, the British raided this harbor, landing 4,000 soldiers on the other side of the harbor, and they marched up the New Bedford side, shot and killed a couple of people, marched all the way to head of the river. There was a bloody battle there on the Sunday morning, about midnight. One of our men, Jonathan Metcalf, was shot and killed there, and he's buried in Acushnet Cemetery today. On Sunday, the British swept down through Fairhaven, burning houses along the way, primarily along Adams Street at the end of Alden Road. And then they went to Sconticut Neck, where the ships that had dropped them off across the harbor went around to pick them up. The fort itself was destroyed when one of the British ships sailed around to the east of us where the state beach is today. There were 34 militiamen on duty here, and there were about 250 British soldiers heading this way. So we had 34 brave American Minutemen facing 250 of the best trained soldiers in the world. So you know what we all did. Run away, run away, run away. We fired a volley of shot at them, abandoned the fort, and the British destroyed this place. After the war, it was rebuilt, and that's where its present name comes from. Before, this fort didn't have a name, but it was named Fort Phoenix after the mythical bird that rises from the ashes. The British also, on the Sunday evening, rowed some of their boats around to Fairhaven Village, and there they were repelled by our ragtag militia group with the help of Major Israel Fearing, who had marched with his militiamen from Wareham. Major Fearing had about 250 men under his command. All day Saturday and Sunday they were marching toward this area, and Major Fearing is said to have gathered our ragtag group of scaredy-cat militiamen together and give us a very inspirational speech. He pulled out his pistol. He said, "I'm going to shoot the first one of you who tries to retreat." And that was the inspiration we needed. So we started firing shots at the British. They got back in their boats and sailed around, and they ended up on Sunday, September 7th, 1778, sailing out of here, leaving a trail of destruction behind them that put the harbor out of commission until the very end of the war in 1783. So this fort, as it was rebuilt, it was manned during the War of 1812 as well. And then the big cannons that we see here today were installed for the Civil War. There were no battles here during the Civil War time, but it was officially a federal fort until it was decommissioned by the federal government. The way it became town property is that in 1926, the town wanted to buy it. The federal government was putting it up for sale, and people were afraid that it would be developed and the fort would be destroyed. But the town didn't have enough money to buy the fort from the government, so one of our select board members, John I. Bryant, wrote to Cara Broughton, who was known as Lady Fairhaven in England. She was a daughter of Henry Huddleston Rogers. He told Cara Broughton, Lady Fairhaven, what was going on here, and she visited Fairhaven in 1926 and presented the select board with a check to purchase Fort Phoenix from the federal government, and it has been a public park ever since. It was dedicated in memory of her father, Henry Huddleston Rogers, and there's a plaque to that effect on the big granite border. So that is why we are here. The fort was really protecting our town during 3 wars, and it began right at the American Revolution, and that is what we are celebrating today on the 4th of July. Before we go on to a reading of the Declaration of Independence, we're going to have another musical number. Cal Wingate is now going to perform America the Beautiful.
Woo woo!
Good morning, and I'm being joined by my friend Sophia. Just come a little bit Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of green, for purple mountains, majesties above the fruited plains. America, America, God shed his grace on thee and crown thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea. Oh, beautiful for patriots' dreams that see beyond the years. Thine alabaster cities gleam undeemed by human tears. America, America, God shed his grace on thee and crowned thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea, from sea to shining sea. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Now, following a tradition that has been going on ever since we began our 4th of July parades and ceremony, the chair of the Select Board is the one who gets the honor of reading the Declaration of Independence. And so here this morning is our chair of the Select Board, Leon Corey, with the Declaration of Independence.
I apologize, I don't have this committed to memory, so In Congress, July 4th, 1776, the unanimous declaration of the 13 United States of America. When in the course of human events, it becomes necessary for one people to dissolve the political bands which have connected them with another, and to assume among the powers of the earth the separate and equal station to which the laws of nature and of God and of nature's God entitle them, a decent respect to the opinions of mankind requires that they should declare the causes which impel them to the separation. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, that to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed, that whenever any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or to abolish it, and to institute new government, laying its foundation on such principles and organizing its powers in such form as to them shall seem most likely to affect their safety and happiness. Prudence indeed will dictate that governments long established should not be changed for light and transient causes. And accordingly, all experience has shown that mankind are more disposed to suffer, while evils are sufferable, than to right themselves by abolishing the forms to which they are accustomed. But when a long train of abuses and usurpations, pursuing invariably the same object, evinces a design to reduce them under absolute despotism, it is their right, it is their duty to throw off such government and to provide new guards for their future security. Such has been patient sufferance of these colonies, and such is now the necessity which constrains them to alter their former systems of government. The history of the present King of Great Britain is a history of repeated injuries and usurpations, all having in direct object the establishment of an absolute tyranny over these states. In every stage of these oppressions, we have petitioned for redress in the most humble terms. Our repeated petitions have been answered only by repeated injury. A prince whose character is thus marked by every act which may define a tyrant is unfit to be the ruler of a free people. We, therefore, the representatives of the United States of America, in general, Congress, assembled, appealing to the Supreme Judge of the world for the rectitude of our intentions, do, in the name and by the authority of the good people of these colonies, solemnly publish and declare that these united colonies are, and of right ought to be, free and independent states that are absolved from all allegiance to the British Crown, and that all political connection between them and the state of Great Britain is and ought to be totally dissolved, and that as free and independent states, they have full power to levy war, conclude peace, contract alliances, establish commerce, and do all other acts and things which independent states may of right do. And for the support of this declaration, with a firm reliance on the protection of divine providence, we mutually pledge to each other our lives, our fortunes, and our sacred honor.
Thank you, Leon. We're coming to the part of the program where we're going to have the raising of the flag and the singing of the national anthem. John Medeiros, will you come up? We've asked John Medeiros this morning to raise the flag for us. That's an honor that we usually give to somebody who does a lot of good things for the town. In this case, we're making an exception, and we're letting John do that. John has been involved in so many things over the years. He was also a member of the Tourism Committee for many years. He's been an active member of the Fairhaven Alumni Association. He's put in lots and lots of volunteer hours on commissions and boards in town. Was the owner of the American Eagle Motor Coach Company with his wife Sally, who's sitting here as well. Thank you, Sally, for helping John through all those years. And this morning, John is going to be raising the flag while the national anthem is sung. Our singer this morning is going to be a senior at Fairhaven High School this year, and I'd like to introduce our musician, Lexi Davigna.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fights o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there.